Welcome to the next video of your economics online tutorial sessions. Today we are going to continue our first chapter, which is the story of village Palampur. Today we are going to continue the chapter, and with the continuation we are going with the first topic for today is modern farming methods. Now what do you mean by modernization? Modernization means to upgrade ourselves, to develop ourselves, right? So what are modern farming methods? Modern farming method means to improve the condition of the techniques, the methods, the appliances of the agriculture. Now, why these modern farming methods were introduced? For a simple reason, the modern farming methods, by using modern farming methods, we can increase the yield. Now, what is yield? Yield means the production. The production. Suppose a farmer is producing in his 1 hectare land about 100 kgs of rice, then 100 kgs is the yield for that farmer. Understood? Now, we can increase the yield from the given piece of land, from the same piece of land. Suppose previously he was growing the yield of 50 kgs of rice, but after using these modern farming method, he has increased the yields. Now he can produce more amount of yields. Now he is producing 100 kgs of rice. So on the same piece of land, on the same area, he is producing more and more. Now before 1960, India was using the traditional farming techniques. All the traditional seeds were being used for the agriculture. Under the traditional farming, he was using cow dung and other natural manures. The fertilizers, they were used as being fertilizers, which was providing them low yields. Low yields means very less amount of productivity was there. At that time in the year Palampur, production of wheat was 1300 kgs per hectare. In Palampur, the production was 1300 kgs per hectare before the 1960. But after using the modern farming methods, they increased the production by 3200 kgs per hectare. How it happened? By using high yielding variety seeds, which is popularly known as Ch.1 seeds. Also, they use latest fertilizers, the insecticides, the pesticides. You know what is insecticide? To remove the insects away from the yield, from the agricultural field. To remove the pests, we use pesticides. To increase the fertility, we use fertilizers. And to have better seeds, we use high yielding variety seeds. Now, apart from these things, these seeds, insecticide, fertilizer, pesticide, what about the appliances? What about the machinery? The modern machineries were tractors. You all know what is tractor. Threshers. Tubewells are used for irrigation facilities. And with all these things, it became very easy for the farmers for plowing and harvesting. Faster, it gave them a speed, so that saved their time. And time is money. So, with the old techniques, with the traditional techniques, the village Palampur was producing 1300 kgs hectare of wheat, but with the latest technologies, Palampur was producing 3200 kgs per hectare of wheat. Now, there is one important topic in your CBC NCERT class 9, Green Revolution. What happened in the Green Revolution? In the late 1960s, the farmers in Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh, keep those states in mind. Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh, these were the states which used Ch.1 seeds, irrigation facilities, chemical fertilizers and pesticides. They were the first of the states of India who used the Ch.1 seeds, irrigation facilities by the government under the Green Revolution, chemical fertilizers and pesticides, so that they can increase the production of yields. Of what crop? Which crop? Of wheat and rice. There are so many things to learn. In the late 1960, farmers in Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh, They used what? They used HYV seeds, they used irrigation facilities, the chemical fertilizers and the pesticides. To what? To increase the production of which yield? Of wheat and rice. Is that clear? Now, with these things, large quantities of food grains on the same piece of land was achieved. If you are using these stuff, then at that time the farmers were producing larger quantities of food grains on the same piece of land. Is that clear? The next topic is, will the land sustain? Now, what do you mean by sustain? Sustain means to remove the same. Will the land be able to absorb all those fertilizers, all those insecticides, all those heavy and rich pesticides and insecticides? So will the land will be able to produce the same amount of productivity? Will the land will be able to give more and more amount of production every year? Will the land remain the same? No, the land will not remain the same. Why? Because scientific reports have stated that modern farming methods have overused, keyword, overused the natural resources. If we are using those fertilizers, those deadly fertilizers again and again on our motherland, then it will take out all the resources at once and the land will be so much overused that the land will become unfertile. The land will not be giving production like the previous ones. The land will die at some place. So, the land will not sustain. Why? Because of the negative impacts of the Green Revolution. You just now read about the Green Revolution. Now, what are the limitations? Basically, the land will not sustain because of the limitations, the demerits, the negative impacts of the Green Revolution. Now, what are the negative impacts of Green Revolution? First of all, Green Revolution is associated with the loss of soil fertility. If we are using lots of HYV seeds, we are using lots of chemical fertilizers, we are using lots of insecticides, pesticides, then it will result into the loss of soil fertility after some time. The land will give up its fertility due to increased use of chemical fertilizer. If we are going to use the fertilizer again and again in a very overusing way, then the land will lose all of its soil fertility. Now, the next negative impact is HYV seeds needed plenty of water. The HYV seeds needed lots of water. The normal seeds, they didn't need any plenty of water. But the HYV seed needed plenty of water. Due to that, therefore, continuous use of groundwater. Now, to irrigate these HYV seeds, the groundwater was being used for the tube wells for irrigating these seeds, which led to the depletion. Depletion means to diminish, to decrease. What has decreased? The water table. Suppose the underground water is at this level, but after using so much groundwater due to the irrigation of HYV seeds, the water level has decreased. From this point to this point, the water level decreased. Now, what we must take care of? There are few things we can take care of so that these things didn't happen. Environmental resources like soil fertility and groundwater. These two things are built up over the years. They are not made up in one day or 2 days. There has been lots of time invested by the mother nature so that groundwater and soil fertility is there with us. But if it is destroyed, it cannot be regained, or it is very difficult. It becomes very difficult to restore them Are you getting my point? The soil fertility is a natural thing. If we are using lots of fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, then one day the soil will give up its fertility. And if we are using lots of water to irrigate our HYV seeds, then the underground water will also diminish. It will go more inside the earth. So once destroyed, it is very difficult to restore them. Keep in mind, if we have lost them, then it will be very difficult to revive them. Now, we must take care of environment to ensure future development of agriculture. We must take care. We must look after the agriculture so that our future development of agriculture. If all the soil fertility is gone, how we will do agriculture in our future? We won't be able to have the agriculture. How will produce wheat, how will produce rice, how will produce the pulses? We won't be able to produce if the groundwater and fertility is gone. So it's our duty to keep a check on these things, and people should not overuse these chemical fertilizers and should not overuse the tubewells for irrigating the HYV seeds. So students, that's all for this video. I hope you have understood all the concepts, all the things of the village PALAMPUR. So through this story of village PALAMPUR, we are getting to know the life of the rural area. I hope it worked for you. Stay home, stay safe.